Hello, everybody. Hi, and welcome to my first tasting live on Instagram. I'm really happy to be here today. Welcome here in Cramont. So, we're going to be here together for approximately 30 minutes, I think. Yeah, we'll try to keep it down to 30 minutes, so I'm not going to take your whole evening. I'm sure you have plenty of things to do tonight. But what I'm happy to share this moment with you. So, why are we here today? Obviously, we're going to talk about champagne, but I really wanted to organize this live tasting because usually in spring, this is when most of the tourists, most of the champagne enthusiasts come back to Champagne because the good days come back, it's sunny, people want to drink champagne to discover more about the area and about what we make here. And unfortunately, because of this terrible coronavirus crisis that we are all having and suffering from nowadays, well, all of these visits, all these tastings that we usually have at this time of the year were cancelled. So I thought it was very important to maintain, to keep in touch with you and to come to you instead, even if it's virtually, it's always better than nothing. So, well, that's for the people who were supposed to come to visit us, who may know us already, or also for the people who have never been in Champagne or who don't know us. So that's a good occasion to explain a bit more who we are and what we do. So let's get started. And of course, before keeping going, don't hesitate to give a lot of feedback, a lot of comments. Obviously, that will be pretty hard for me to answer all of them, but I will try to do that later if I can after the live. All right, so let's get it started. We can start with a few introduction about who we are here, Pertois Lebrun. Yes, because now Pertois Lebrun, it's a story of two brothers now. My brother Clément and myself, Antoine. So, but we are the fifth generation. So, in the beginning, it was not Pertois Lebrun. In the beginning, it was Henri Pertois. And then the next generation was Pertois Tessier. And then in 1955, the house Pertois Lebrun itself was created by our grandparents. It was Paul Pertois. Here he comes. Yes, here he comes. So that was our grandfather, Paul Pertois, the creator of our champagne house. So I really wanted to pay tribute to him tonight because I think it's very important to show who he was and why we're here today with my brother. So thank you, Paul. So he created the champagne house with his wife, Françoise Lebrun. So these were two growers in Côte des Blancs. So my grandfather was a grower in Cramont, and my grandmother, Françoise, was a grower in the village of Le Mesnil-sur-Ogier, still in Côte des Blancs. So together, when they got married, they created their own champagne house, Pertois Lebrun, in 1955. And now, after them, it's our aunt, Odile, who took the business over. And now we are together with my brother. That was not an easy choice because we are definitely not from the Champagne area. We are from the south of France. We were born and raised there, close to Marseille. So not the typically Champagne products, born and raised here, having grown with our parents and so on. But we decided anyway to come back here because we were the only representatives of the fifth generation. So it was us or nobody else, basically. So if we didn't want to see this beautiful vineyard and winery disappear, we had to come back here. So my brother came back in 2004 and I joined him in 2013. And now we're together, the two of us, in charge of this family business. And to tell the truth, we are really having a good time. So that's for the little story about us. So now, where are we exactly? I don't know if you're really used to all these terms, all these words about Champagne, Côte des Blancs, Cramont, Grand Cru Vineyard. So basically, we are in the village of Cramont. And I wanted to show you where we are exactly. So Cramont, it's right here. We are in Côte des Blancs. So very close to Épernay, south of Épernay, and this is where our winery is located. But we are lucky to have 10-hectare vineyard spread all across Côte des Blancs. So not only the village of Cramant, but also in the Grand Cru villages. So Cramant here, also in the Grand Cru village of Chouilly here. I hope it's clear enough. Here in the Grand Cru village of Oiry, then Auger and Le Mesnil-sur-Auger right here. So altogether we have 9.5 hectares of vines in Côte des Blancs, mostly in Grand Cru villages, because we also have 1 hectare in Premier Cru villages as well. But we're very lucky to have almost all our vineyard in 5 Grand Cru villages of Côte des Blancs. That's quite unusual. It's quite big already for a family-run champagne house, and it's quite unusual to have such a scattered vineyard in this beautiful and prestigious area. So, which means that Côte des Blancs, for those who don't know it, this is where you will mostly find the best Chardonnays in Champagne, because normally there are 6 Grand Cru villages in Côte des Blancs. The only one where we don't have vines is the village of Avize, here, just south of Cramant. But yes, well, so we only grow the Chardonnay grape here in Côte des Blancs. So that's the realm of this grape, basically. And well, it's a good field to play to make beautiful blends, because well, we have very different kind of expressions through these Grand Cru villages. We can have, for example, Le Mesnil, which is very famous here, is going to be very straight, very floral, a lot of flowers in the wines, very mineral but still powerful. Chouilly, for example, will be more, how can I say, more generous, more fruity, more richer, I would say. When Cramant is more creamy, very elegant. We also have vines in Oiry. In Oiry, all our wines that we have from Oiry are quite, they're also elegant, but with a great finesse and this kind of salty flavors in them that makes them just very nice and enjoyable. So that's for where our vineyard is located. Now I can talk about how we work, basically, because obviously things have changed. Now we are the latest generation in charge. So we decided to, when we came back here, we really wanted to give, how can I say, well, life back to our vine, to our vineyard, because, well, now things are changing in Champagne. A lot of new methods, procedures are in progress, and that's really what we wanted to do with my brother. So basically now what we're really trying to do is to avoid, to get rid of all the chemicals in the vineyard. It's very important for us and for you guys, obviously, who drink our champagne or who want to try it. So it was very important. So instead of using chemicals, basically, we use organic treatments. We use our tractors, we use mechanical procedures in the vineyard to get rid of the grass, for example, instead of using herbicides or weed killers. So just we work our soils mechanically. Almost all our treatments now are organic, even if I prefer to be totally transparent. Here in Champagne, the climate is not that easy. It's quite cool, quite humid. So it's not the best area to work 100% organic, especially with the 10-hectare vineyard that we have. So to tell the truth, we may use 1 or 2 chemical treatments during the year if the weather conditions are really bad, and if we feel and if we see that there's a high risk that we can lose all our upcoming harvest. So that's the truth. But except out of this 1 or 2 chemicals that we may use, for example, in 2019 we didn't use any. The weather conditions were good enough to use 100% organic treatments. So normally we use organic treatments. We can also use some aromatherapy to strengthen the natural defenses of the plants. We can also use natural herbal decoctions, natural compost, for example, fertilizers for our vines. So the goal in the end is to create a very clean environment first for the people who work in the vineyard. It's very important. We are concerned in the first place. We work in the vineyard, so is to offer a place safe for the people in the vineyard. Second, it's also, from our point of view, the best way to represent, to show the true characteristics of the real features and the real expression of our Chardonnays. Because when you use chemicals, basically, you can just take a look at some field in the vineyard. They are like, you feel like you're on the moon. So we don't want that. It's important to have very green and nice places to have the best expression of our Chardonnay. And then, last but not least, it's to offer, as I said, a very nice product to you guys who are going to drink it in the end. So it's important we respect our clients, obviously, so we want to offer them the best product as possible. So that's for the message we change in the vineyard. And now in the winery, we also change a lot of things with my brother. We didn't decide to start from scratch, for example, to get rid of all what was from our grandparents, for example, but we preferred to keep what we had. So we kept like big concrete vats that my grandfather built with his employees back in the days. And so that's for the big vats. We are not using all of them anymore, but the smaller vats, we use only the small ones. And then we respected this heritage, this tradition coming from our grandparents, but at the same time we wanted to experiment new things, new kind of vats. So that's why we started in 2009 to buy barrels, starting with second-hand barrels from Burgundy, because we were experimenting, so we didn't want to buy new oak, very oaky, of course, with strong oaky flavors. So we bought these second-hand barrels from Burgundy, who saw very nice Chardonnay from this other wine growing region. And then we expanded our stock of barrels, starting with second-hand barrels, and step by step buying our own barrels, new barrels, but that we diluted in the main blend, not to have this strong oaky feeling in our champagne. So our point of view, our idea in the first place when we started this oak vinification was for our single parcel cuvée that we really wanted to make something different with single vineyard cuvée, and that's why we started this oak vinification. And so that was the first step. Then we bought also the classic stainless steel vat, and our new toy, I would say, is these stoneware vats now that we have from different locations. We bought some from Italy and from China as well, who are very good manufacturers of ceramic and of stoneware. This is something they've been doing for centuries, even more. So we have these two different suppliers for our stoneware vats, and we keep experimenting new things all the time. And for us, it's very important for the same wine, for example, for the same parcel, to have the same wine in different kind of vats, in a barrel, in a concrete vat, in a stainless steel vat, in a stoneware vat, to have different kind of features, to have different styles of the same wine. And it's just so exciting to taste different wines coming from the same place, but with totally different expressions, depending on how they were vinified and aged. So that's how we vinify our champagnes now, our wines in our winery. And we also wanted to, I think maybe you understood it before, but we really wanted to isolate at least, as much as possible, each plot of land, each plot of vines, just for a better understanding of our whole vineyard, actually, because we have almost 10 hectares of vines in 5 Grand Cru villages, 44 plots altogether. So that represents many different possibilities for our blends. And for us, it's very important to understand what can come from that plot, what may come from that other plot. So that's why we really wanted to isolate as much as possible our plots. And when we can do that, because the plots are too small, we just put similar plots together, like located in the same area, in the same area, to have something quite representative of its terroir, of its origins. So that's how we do it. That's what happens in our winery. Basically, we try to intervene as less as possible on our wines. We think that less is better here. They are vinified in a barrel or in a vat. Then we don't touch them anymore. Usually, we tend to launch to make the malolactic to undergo the malolactic fermentation. We think it's very important to bring the roundness and some more generosity to our very sharp and clean Chardonnays. So we really like undergoing this malolactic fermentation, and then we just leave our wines aging slowly for 9 to 10 months in their barrel or in their tank, and we don't do anything. We just follow them, we try them, we taste them once in a while. This is what we call les vins clairs, like the still wines, basically. Still wines, 11 degrees. So we just taste them once in a while to see if everything goes well, but we don't intervene at all until the blend and the bottling, which happens in July. So it's almost 10 months after the harvest, which happens in September, of course. So, and then, we bottle our champagnes, we make our blend, we bottle them, and then we put the bottles in our cellar for at least 4 years. We really like taking our times. It takes patience as well, but we really like taking our times to make nice, very elegant champagnes with a nice balance. In Champagne, time is important, especially with Blanc de Blanc champagnes from the Grand Cru vineyards of Côte des Blancs, from Côte des Blancs, because they are so sharp, so clean, with a high acidity, very elegant, but they need time to, just to soften, to settle, and to show all their potential. So we keep them at least 4 years in our cellar before disgorging them and finally selling them to our customers. So let's talk about, that was the general introduction about who we are and how we work. So now let's talk about champagne, because that's the reason why we're here tonight. First cuvée, l'Extraverti. So, for those who are not really used to these new bottles, we changed all our brand identity early 2020. So this one was called Instant Brut before. So that's our classic Blanc de Blanc champagne from Grand Cru Vineyards. Basically, it's a blend of the various Grand Cru Vineyards we have. It's not always the same recipe. We don't have a clear recipe, for a very defined recipe for all our champagnes. It really depends on what we have in the winery, the style of the vintage, how we fill it, just what they show when they are still at this stage of vin clair, of still wines. So this one, our classic Blanc de Blanc champagnes, that's typical champagne, Blanc de Blanc champagne, with a lot of finesse, freshness, but generosity and maturity as well, because that's a champagne that we keep for 4 years at least on the lees in our cellars. So usually it's between 4 and 5 years. Something important to say about this one is that most of the time we only use one single year to make it. At the moment, the one we have is from the year 2014. So for us, it's interesting to work this way, because we think that champagne is just like a classic still wine. I would say just like a still wine. It has very different expression, very different styles depending on the year, and we have the luck of being in this beautiful place of Côte des Blancs in the Grand Cru Vineyards, and we have the chance of having at least good, sometimes very good, sometimes outstanding harvests. So we don't think it's necessary to add reserve wines, and we just like to play with the vintage effect to have something that can vary from one year to another. And as long as the quality is good enough, well, it's fine by us. And it's more exciting because we'll not always have the same flavors, contrary to the big champagne houses, for example. We are growers. It's more like craftsmanship, so we like playing with that. So, just a few explanations for those who don't speak French. I'm pretty sure most of you are not. So, l'extraverti in English, we can translate it as the extrovert. Why this name? Because it's our entry-level champagne, as I said. It's a very accessible champagne, as I said, very fresh. So, just like an extroverted person who is very easy to talk to and you like spending time with. That's exactly what we wanted to show with this champagne, l'extraverti. So you can just pop a champagne like this on any occasion, well, as long as you can afford this, of course. But yeah, that's a champagne that you can just enjoy on any occasion, because while you can enjoy many drinks, it's balanced. It's a blend of different Grand Cru vineyards. It's fresh. The dosage is quite low. All our champagnes are quite low when it comes to sugar dosage. This one at the moment is 4.5 grams of sugar, so it's an extra bold champagne. On the back labels of our champagne, we'll always find all the characteristics, all the details about what it is, the origin of the grapes, the year, our philosophy, how we work, when it was bottled, when it was disgorged, the dosage. So it's very important to us to be transparent and to show you how we work and what you are finally in the bottle. Very important. So that was for the first one. Second champagne that I wanted to present today is L'Ambitieuse. So L'Ambitieuse, that this name I could translate it by the ambitious in English. So why such name? So first, before explaining why, this is a substitute of our former champagne, former cuvée, which was called before Exaltation. So why such name, the ambitious? Because it's a champagne that basically is going to evolve in the future. Year after year is going to get better and better, not because of the aging, but because of the vinification and of the blend. Because at the moment it is still, I would say, the old-fashioned techniques that we've been using for I would say the 10 past years. So it's 70%. Usually it's about 70% of one harvest. At the moment it's from 2013. And 30% of reserve wines, usually coming from the two previous years. So 30% of wine coming from 2012 and 2011. But why is it ambitious? Because this blend is going to evolve year after year. So as from 2014, it will be 50% of one harvest, of the last harvest, and 50% of reserve wines. And these reserve wines will get more and more complex as the years go, because we start in 2013 perpetual reserve. We can also give a different name, a Solera, which is more used for other wines, but that we can also use in champagne. And basically, this perpetual reserve, what is it? It's blending the different years together. So, for example, in 2013, we put our wine from 2013 as well. We kept some as reserve wines, and in 2014 we used some of this wine from 2013 and we added in the same vat wine from 2014, and then the year after we used this reserve wine from 13 plus 14, and we added some wines from the last harvest from 2015 on top of it. So basically it's a reserve wine that evolve all the way year after year. And you will always find the first year in it, but this proportion is going to be more and more limited in lesser proportion. And obviously the last year will be in bigger proportion. But it's very interesting because you're going to blend very different wines together old wines, young wines, wine from cold years, wines from warm years, all together, and they're going to evolve slowly all together. So that's why we wanted to call this cuvée l'ambitieuse, the ambitious, because these 50% of reserve wines are going to get more and more complex in the next few years, giving some more complexity, more richness, and more depth to the champagne. But to get back to this very cuvée that is on sale right now, so it's 70% from 2013, which was an interesting year with a quite high acidity that also gives a very good aging potential to this champagne, actually, because this champagne with this acidity, well, it's a champagne that has already aged for about 5-6 years on the lees in our cellars, so quite a long time already. But well, that's because of this base from 2013. You can keep it in your cellar for more years without any problem. It has a very nice finesse, acidity, and freshness coming from this acidity. And the 30% of reserve wines are going to bring some more complexity, more maturity. So compared to the first one, compared to l'Extraverti, it's going to be richer, more complex, with more layers of flavors and aromas. And we're definitely going to something more gastronomic. And because we have this complexity and this longer aging on the lees, 5 to 6 years, we have this kind of natural sweetness that develops. So that's why we decrease the dosage compared to the first one, which was 4.5 grams of sugar per liter. This one is only 1 gram of sugar. We really wanted to highlight the straightness from 2013, and at the same time we had the balance coming from the reserve wines and from the 5 to 6 years of aging. So that's why we really wanted to keep the dosage low on this one, to have something very sharp, very clean, pure, and at the same time rich. So that's for l'ambitieuse, so watch out for this one, because it's going to get more and more exciting in the next few years. And the last cuvée, well, it's almost, I've been talking for almost half an hour, so I should hurry up. The last cuvée, which is a very exciting cuvée as well, I wanted to highlight one of our single vineyard cuvée, Derrière le Montaigu, coming from the village of Chouilly. I'm going to show you here on a map the village of Chouilly. So that's the whole vineyard of the Grand Cru village of Chouilly. Our plot of land is located here, Derrière le Montaigu. So we are the southeast part of the vineyard, very close to Wary, which is right here. The vineyard of Wary is here. So we definitely can say that we're in the middle of Chouilly. So I wouldn't say that this champagne truly reflects the typical Chouilly style, because we're definitely not in the heart of it. But we are on a slope. We're down the slope actually. It's quite a big plot of 0.6 hectare, and it's a slight slope facing south down the slope. All vines more than 50 years in average, planted in 1960 by our grandfather Paul Pertois, and so I said it was facing south. And it's a parcel, something very important to say, that it's a parcel that has been that has been treated 100% organically since 2013, so no chemical at all. So at the moment, yes, I can show you what the parcel looks like. So that's Derrière le Montaigu. Right here, right now, you are in the heart of this parcel. And yeah, that's a picture that I just took this morning for you guys, so I hope you like it. So Derrière le Montaigu, here we can see a clear piece of chalk. I have the exact same piece of chalk here. I'm not lying, I'm not kidding. That piece of chalk was coming from this very plot of land. And this parcel is, this cuvée is from our range called Les Fidèles. Our range of single vineyard cuvées. So this one from Chouilly, from 2012 only. Here you have number 12 on the label. That refers to the year, to the harvest, 2012, which was from my point of view, a fantastic year. I really love it because the yields were quite low. Sorry. It was a complicated year with frost, so that's why the yields were low. The berries were very small, not so many. But on the other hand, the good thing about that is that we had a very nice concentration in the berries and a great balance. So basically, we had the acidity, the fruit, and just a nice concentration and perfect balance. So it's a year that I really liked in its youth. After 3-4 years of aging, it was very nice. It was already very nice. I really loved it. But after it's a champagne, it's a year that we can keep in our cellar for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years without any problem, and it will just evolve slowly. For example, this champagne, we kept it for 6 years, for the first until the first disgorgement, 6 years on the lease. So now it's showing more and more complex flavors and aromas. And in this place, derrière le Montaigu, our still wines, our vin clair that I was talking about before, are always very elegant, very, very fine. A lot of minerals in them. I can also show what we found in the plot. That's an analysis of the parcel that we had last year, and we can see that quite soon enough, not so deep, we can reach pure chalk, and this chalk bring all this finesse, all this elegance, and all this minerality that is very important in our champagnes, our Blanc de Blanc champagnes. So I'm just thinking if I was missing something about this one. Yes, this one is 100% from stainless steel vat. Usually, as I said, for the single vineyard cuvées, we really like to blend them with some oak. But for the first year, because 2012 was the first year that we started this cuvée, and we really wanted to show and to highlight the genuine characteristics of this plot, and we saw that with stainless steel vat only, it was the best way, because obviously when you use oak, you're going to bring added flavors, oaky flavors, toasted flavors, vanilla flavors, very interesting as well, that we really like. But for the first year, we really wanted to stick to its genuine expression, Chardonnay from derrière le Montaigu only, full stop. So I'm just remembering that for the previous champagnes there was a low proportion of oak barrels in them. In L'Extraverti there were 14% of oak, and in L'Ambitieuse it was 18% of oak. So this one 100% stainless steel vat. And that's a champagne that you can enjoy on its own, definitely, but it's also, I think, a champagne that you can have with a fantastic dinner, with a gastronomic dinner, because I think that when you drink the champagne, we're almost talking about a Burgundy wine with some bubbles, with some fizz, with some effervescence. So just try it with some food. You can try it with some cheese, mature cheeses, powerful. It will be great pairing with this champagne. Seafood is always very nice with Blanc de Blanc champagnes. It will raise all these salty flavors that you can find in such a champagne, and all the minerals that you will taste in this one. You can also try it with some white meat, chicken, poultry. It will be beautiful, and even with some cured ham, for example. So I really recommend to try it with some food. The tasting experience will be even better. I think I've been talking for more than 30 minutes. I thought it would have been a bit shorter. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope you really enjoyed this first live tasting. I was really happy to share this moment with you guys. It was a way to connect with you now that we don't see anybody anymore here in Champagne. But it was great to have you here. One last thing before I stop this video. Of course, I'm going to share, because some of you I know wanted to pop a bottle of champagne during this video with all my explanations. So let's do the same. What I'm tasting here, no label at all. That's something that is not on the market yet. Actually, it's L'Extraverti from 2016. So not on the market yet because we're still selling the 2014, but this one was disgorged a couple of days ago à la volée, straight from the cellar by my brother. So let's share this moment together. Thank you for coming. Well, I hope you liked it. Of course, stay safe, stay home, keep drinking champagne. It's important in these times. And I hope I will meet you soon, very soon, here in Champagne or in your country or wherever else. Thanks a lot and enjoy. Bye bye.